Hi there and welcome. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. My name is Rena. This is going to be my first ever knitting video. So this is going to be a roundup of everything I have knitted in 2025. I think it's a great way to start my YouTube videos like this, so that I have also an idea about everything I have knitted, what I learned from this journey, and then I will start the new year with some regular knitting podcast as well. Maybe just a little bit about myself. My name is Rena. I live in Norway with my husband, with my 15-month-old daughter and two of our cats. It has been just over a year that I've been knitting, so I have a few garments, adult garments, baby garments, but this year I have been knitting, or last year I have been knitting a lot of baby garments. Maybe before starting to present you the garments, I will give you a little bit more statistics. Let's see. I have my notes here. So in total, I have knitted 27 items, including 4 adult garments. I actually frogged one, and 7 baby or child garments, and then 7 adult accessories, 9 accessories for baby or child, and included in all these numbers I have knitted 6 gift knits as well. So obviously the gift knits and also some couple of baby items, I don't have them with me right now because they're gifted, or a couple of them are in the kindergarten with my daughter, but I will insert some picture and also share as much information as I have about them. So I would start with adult garment and adult accessories, then we'll move on to the baby garment and the baby accessories. So if you're interested in baby knits, you can also continue watching. So on the adult garments, the first items that I'm going to share is what I'm wearing right now. This is the step-by-step sweater by Florence Miller. I think many of you are familiar with this pattern. This is a great pattern for a first-time garment knitter because there's a step-by-step videos on YouTube. I have always heard about knitting, like people can knit their own sweaters, and then I think it's really impressive. And I was also very intimidated by written patterns, like all this abbreviation, like all the different techniques and steps. So I have never brave enough to start before I stumbled onto this video from Florence Miller. So I made mine. I will talk about the yarn first then. I made mine with alpaca wool from Sandnes Garn. Actually, I went into our local yarn store with the pattern. So in the pattern, the recommended yarn, I believe it was Drops Nepal. So I showed the pattern. I said, maybe I'm going to knit S small size or M. Please give me this yarn. And she looked at the pattern, read through it quickly, and then she told me, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not able to help you. So I couldn't understand. She told me she doesn't have drops in her shop. But I was really determined to get the yarn that day and then stop immediately knitting. So I asked her to help me. Maybe there's some yarn that we can change, substitute to this Drops Nepal. So she was really kind and helpful, has been search on the different yarn that she has in the store. So finally she recommended that I could use this alpaca wool from Sandnes Garn. It's really similar to Drops Nepal. It's also a mix of wool and alpaca. For the needle size, I believe I used the recommended needle size from the pattern, but I just size up to either S or M because I think the yarn was still just a little bit lighter than Drops Nepal, if I'm not mistaken. So this is about the yarn. When I first finished the sweater, so I wasn't really experienced with blocking sweaters, of course. So when I blocked the sweater, I blocked it really weirdly in the sense of the collar. I blocked it like high up and then straight down to the shoulder like this. It was like folded neckline, but feels like turtleneck, like as it was wool alpaca blend. It was a bit itchy on this area. So what I did is that actually I waited, I don't know why, a very long time to block it a second time with the collar slightly pulled down correctly as much as I can. But I think when I folded down and sewed it, maybe it's sewn a little bit tighter, so it was a bit difficult to pull it down, but still I made it just slightly better than the last time. But another thing about this yarn is after multiple times of wear, it's just getting softer and softer. It's very comfortable. I'm liking this a lot now, so in the future I'm definitely using this alpaca wool from Sandnes Garn again. So I think there's not much to say about the pattern. It was really great. I compared at the same time when I was knitting the step-by-step video and then the written pattern, so I can also get myself used to how the pattern is written, to understand easily maybe the future patterns. So I'm really glad that this was my first ever knitting project. And then let's move on to the second object. It's also a second sweater for myself, but I don't have it with me right now because I frogged that one. So the pattern was a Haze sweater by the Knit Purl. It's a free pattern. It's a color work round yoke pattern. After knitting this pattern, I was so happy and then getting very confident, like, oh, I can do this, I can even make a color work, let's do it. And I think it was quite fast that I found this pattern on, I think it was on Instagram. I saw the picture and then instantly fell in love with that picture of Haze sweater. I went to the same yarn store. I returned a couple of skeins of yarn that I haven't used for this sweater, and then I went there to get the new yarn. The yarn recommended, I think it was Loppy, but I don't know why. I was very maybe in love with the Sandnes Garn, and then I want to use Sandnes Garn, and I wanted to also something maybe a bit softer than Loppy, which was a very rustic Icelandic wool. So I went there and get double Sunday, so the 100% merino wool from Sandnes Garn. So why I frogged this pattern, so let's just get straight into that. Because it wasn't the same yarn weight. I think the Loppy is a little bit heavier, and also as much as I tried to make some calculation that which size, if it's not the same yarn, which needle, at the end it still ended up very tight, so not much, almost like negative ease. So I can insert a picture here on screen. I really like the process of knitting and learning how to do stranded color works, try to manage the tension. I think it all went well, but at the end it just wasn't my size. The sleeves were very long, but the body was just like this, very tight. So I frogged it. I don't like having a garment in my wardrobe that I spent so much time, and then it was a really good yarn, but if I'm not going to wear it, I don't want to have it there. So I prefer having the yarn, then use it later in the future for something else that I will definitely make use of. So I will talk about a little bit later what I have done with all this. Almost I used up all the yarn from that frogged sweater. So the next one, so the next adult garment is a sweater for my husband. So it's right here. So this sweater, it's obviously very big. I will try to pull this up a little. I will also insert some pictures of my husband wearing this sweater. So I will start with the pattern. This is the Hanstholm sweater by Petite Knit. This was, I think, yes, the first ever garment that I have knitted for my husband. I wanted to make him a sweater, also a simple sweater that I can make. And then I think I bought first the melange sweater because I was interested in using the tin Perite. I bought the melange sweater, but as it was like a lot of marbling going on, I couldn't see at first the construction, and then I realized that it was drop shoulder construction, and then immediately I kind of got scared because it's I only have experience with the raglan, and then I wanted to keep doing raglan until I'm really comfortable with doing other techniques. So I went on Petite Knit's website and I got the Hanstholm sweater pattern. So about the pattern, I searched a lot on Instagram. So I started using Ravelry from not long time ago, so I'm trying to update my Ravelry right now, but before I use a lot Instagram to look for inspiration, look at how people made their patterns, to look at if I like the color, the fit, if there's anything that people shared as well, if they made any modification, to learn from them. So I learned that quite a few people, they're not happy about this pattern, especially on the sleeve. I can also see from the picture that the body looking like a good fit, but for the sleeves it looks very tight from the shoulder up. So after doing the measurement, so on my husband, I decided to make XXL size instead of L size if I follow the pattern recommendation. So I am super happy about this decision. It fits him really well. It's the right size. It's not oversized, but just enough space to be comfortable in. But other than that, the pattern is really great, easy to follow, beginner friendly. I think I'm not going to change anything about how I did this sweater by following the pattern. Yeah, of course, one thing obviously here you can see that this is a striped version. The reason that I made is that I will show you later some other sweaters. I made sweaters for my daughter, which is also like this kind of stripe, but the color is switched because I ordered the yarn, but I made a mistake. It's supposed to be this nature white-ish color sweater with this cognac color stripe, but I made a mistake, but it's okay. I think this sweater still looks really great. Yeah, the purpose was simply to make a matching sweater with my daughter, so that's why I changed it into a striped version. And I'm talking a little bit more about the yarn. So this is tin Perite, but held double. I used the recommended needle size 4mm, but still using tin Perite double. I think it's much thicker or denser than Perite if I follow the pattern. But as I'm a very tight knitter, that's how I actually perfectly hit the gauge, by using 4mm with double-stranded tin Perite. At the end, I use almost 12 skeins of cognac color and almost 4 skeins of this white-ish natural color. So for all the color names or color codes, I will put them in the description, or I will link them in my Ravelry project page. What can I share more about this? So about the yarn, so he has been wearing this quite a lot. There's not really any visible, there's just a little bit on the hem, just some pilling, but really not a lot. And the yarn is, yeah, we can say that it's a little bit rustic, but not itchy in my opinion. I don't think he feels it itchy either, and it has a really nice drape. The drape is just amazing. Yeah, I think this is everything I have to say about this sweater. So next on the list we have yeah, there's one adult garment that I gifted to my friend. It's a Hadley sweater or Hadley ganser from Sandnes Garn. So it is a classic drop shoulder with a split hem, really oversized look sweater. I actually had a booklet for that pattern, and then I switched the yarn. The yarn that I used is Drops Air, because I think the recommended yarn was Sandnes Garn Poppy. So the Sandnes Garn Poppy, I think it's a bit expensive, so I tried to see what yarn I can use to substitute that. So I hit gauge with the Drops Air, so I knit up that sweater and then I gifted to my friend. So about the pattern, as it is a quite simple construction, the booklet, even though it was in Norwegian, it was easy to follow. But for the measurements, at the end, my friend, she was visiting me actually during Christmas, so she shared the measurements and then I picked a size, so I made the XS and S size for her. At the end, actually, when she tried it looked a little bit like cropped on her, but it was intended by the pattern. But I think it could look better if it was just a little bit longer than that. Maybe there's another reason, is the yarn is different. Sandnes Garn Poppy has cotton content, so I think it helps a lot with the drape. But Drops Air is, yeah, as its name, it's very airy, super light. I think it just lacks this kind of like a drape or like some heaviness that sometimes we like to have in a sweater. So I tried it on myself. I don't think it looks that good on me. I don't think that, I don't know if it's because like the drop shoulder or it was kind of like oversized look, but I don't really like that fit on me. So I will not make that pattern again, but I think it looks really good on a lot of people on the Ravelry page. So as the pattern instruction writing, I would recommend that pattern. But as for the yarn, I don't think I will use Drops Air again for a garment knitting. I think it's great if you make some light and airy accessories like small scarf that I made later on. If you want to make a sweater with a nice drape, maybe Drops Air. For me personally, it's not the best choice. I think with that we are done with adult garments. So now let's move on to adults accessories. The first one I would like to share is this one. This is Sophie hood. So Sophie hood is a pattern by Petite Knit. So this is actually my first ever cal knit along with one of my friends here. So we picked the yarn together, picked the pattern together, and started knitting Sophie hood. It was actually a pretty quick knit. I think we finished it in less than 2 weeks. So about this yarn, we picked Drops Nipple. I don't think it was on the list of the recommended yarn, but we hit the gauge and then it looks like the right yarn choice when I was looking at some of the projects on Ravelry. And then I was really drawn to a red color of some of the projects on Ravelry, so I also bought the red. So I also bought red one from Drops Nipple. So about the pattern, I have just one challenge with the pattern. So if I hold it up correctly, you will be able to see that the two sides, they're not the same length. Because when I started on one side, you're supposed to be increasing, of course, on a certain rate, but when I was increasing, I was really having difficulties to counting like, or how many rows, like if I have already made one increase and then the next one I couldn't already find my increase rows. So I made quite a few mistakes, and then even on one edge of the I-cord there was a mistake as well, but for me it's okay, because when you wear it, you wrap it around your neck and then no one will actually notice that two sides are different, so that's okay. About the yarn, this yarn has really nice drape, I think because of the alpaca content. So Drops Nipple has I think 70% of wool and 30% of alpaca, if I'm not mistaken. So it has a really nice drape, super warm. And when I first knitted, it was actually shorter than the pattern intended. But when I blocked it, it grew a ton. So I think it even grew just a little bit more than the pattern intended. But again, it's okay. It's an accessories. It's not like a sweater sleeves that grew that much. But I will keep in mind that alpaca will grow and grow a lot. Yeah, that's it about my Sophie hood. Next up for adult accessories, we have here a weekend hat from Petite Knit. This weekend hat I made it for my husband by using Sandnes Garn Piergent. So about the pattern, when I search online about other people's projects, some people said that they don't like sometimes when the hat has a lot of space on the crown, and I think my husband here doesn't like that either. So I searched a little bit about how people made modifications. So basically, yeah, when you're doing this hat or crown decreases, there's a certain rate. You made modifications to make the decrease faster, so it will be shorter. So for the size, I'm supposed to knit the size M, and I realized that when you start cast on stitches, size S and size M, they have the exact same stitch counts. I think the difference is that you just made the hat a little bit longer, and then yeah, it's a bit longer for the M size, but as I wanted to make the hat crown shorter, at the end when I look at the pattern, I actually followed the S size from the pattern. So when I finish it, it looks a little bit tight. I used actually half a needle size bigger than the pattern recommended. I think in the pattern it was 3.5. I used 4mm needle, but still it looks really tight, as this is a rib hat. When my husband tried it, I think it also feels a little bit tight on his forehead. So I actually blocked this hat, and then on the blocking mat I stretched it a lot. So it was much smaller than this before. I stretched it quite a lot, and then it actually stayed in shape as I stretched it. I'll see if I can try this. I don't know how it looked on me. I quite like the shape of this hat, but not sure about the color. Yeah, I actually want to make myself a weekend hat as well in the future, if I have time, and then if I have some leftover yarn, because I think it's great for a leftover yarn project. For this one specifically, I use up a little bit more than 2 skeins of Sandnes Garn Piergent. So in the pattern it recommended 3 skeins. I think I almost used 3, but yeah, let's say it's 2.5 skein around about that. I think apart from that I don't have much to share about this hat. Yeah, so this is all that I wanted to share about this hat. Weekend hat by Petite Knit. Next up I have a pair of mittens that I made for my husband. So as you can see from here, this is a pair of stranded colorwork mittens. About the pattern, this is a pattern from Drops Design called Christmas Claps Mittens. For the yarn I use again Sandnes Garn Piergent, color dark blue and nature, so I will put the color code in the description box as well. As you can see, I'm doing just some deep peeling. Actually, we have never deep peeled this mittens before. It has just a little bit of peeling going on here and there, but when I just first finished the mitten, it felt a little bit rough, as the drops as a Sandnes Garn Petite Knit, but after a wear it's now very soft, very comfortable. It's holding up super well. And for the pattern, it's a free pattern from Drops Design website. Only there are a few modifications I made for this pattern. So the first modification is the cuff. So maybe I can hold it closer here. So this is a cuff modification inspired by handmade by Florence. So I added this Latvian braid, 2 rows of Latvian braids, and then in the middle it's 2x2 rib by alternating the colors. I think it looks really good, so I made this modification on this mittens. Another modification is that I think for the stitch counts you're supposed to start with the less stitches for the cuff and then you increase for the hand. But I started immediately with the stitch counts that we have in the hand on the cuff side, so it looks well, it looks really good. And apart from that, I don't think I made any other modification. The pattern is well written, easy to follow, easy to understand. Just for, I think, the thumb, as it was a very small circumferences, you have to use the double pointed needle, and then I'm not really used to doing stranded color work with double pointed needle. It was quite difficult to manage the tension. I think for the first thumb I knitted up 3 times to finally get the right thumb. For the first thumb it was too tight. He couldn't even put his fingers, his thumb in. Then for the second time I intentionally made it a little bit looser, and then it was huge. And then for the third time it was finally right. So it was definitely a good lesson to learn how to make a stranded color work mitten. I'm super happy with that. And that brings me to the next adult accessories, which is a pair of stranded color work mitten again, but this time for myself. I follow again a free pattern from Drops Design. This is called Festive Nordic Mittens. This time I didn't make any changes to the cuff. It's as explained in the pattern, because I wanted to, for once try the pattern to follow how it will looks like. I really like how it looks, but also at the same time I realized that when I wear mittens, most of the time the cuff is like this, hidden inside my coat, so no one will see it anyway. So I think it's not a bad choice. And another modification, no modification, so there's only one modification I made for this pattern, is again the stitch count. So for the stitches, interestingly, for this pattern it started with more stitches for the cuff and then they decrease for the hand. I couldn't quite understand it why, and I also don't know why I don't want to trust the pattern 100%, and then I just started the less stitch counts that we have for the hand and then start the cuff like that, because anyway it's going to be stretchy, and I didn't quite understand why we need to have more stitches for the cuff. As for the yarn, I use again Sandnes Garn Petite Knit. For the base color, it's the same as the first pair of mittens. It's Petite Knit Almond from Petite Knit color collection. So this is the almond color, and then this is the true red color from Petite Knit. And I'm really happy with this color combination. I think in the pattern for this and this, it was actually the other way around. So you have the like motifs or the flowers on the lighter color, and then the base was like the darker color, but I just changed it, and then I like the way it look. I think I forgot to mention about the size. So for my husband I knitted the size L, the bigger size, and then for myself it's the smaller and medium SM size from the pattern. So that's all about the mittens. Next on the list, I have a few gift knits that I have made as accessories that I don't have them with me right now. So maybe I can look at my notes to share a bit more information about them. After making this Hadley sweater with the Drops Air, yeah, I forgot to share that with the Drops Air yarn, when I made the calculation about how many meters of yarn needed, and then I bought Drops Air. I think I bought 10 skeins of them. At the end, when I finished the sweater, I used just slightly over 5 skeins, so I have so much yarn left from that project, so I had to do something with them. And as I mentioned, I didn't really like that yarn in a garment, so I decided to make smaller accessories to try to use up that yarn for my stash. So the first garment or the first accessory that I tried is a neck warmer. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, so I will insert a picture and also the link down in the description below. And I think I discovered that pattern on the Ravelry homepage. I think it's called the category of the new released pattern or something like that. And I really like that simple minimalist look of that neck warmer, and also when you fold it down, both inside and outside looks really clean. So I made that with the Drops Air. I gifted that to the friend that I made the sweater for. It's going to be a match, and she really likes that neck warmer as well. So I use 1 skein, actually slightly more than 1 skein, 53 grams, to make exactly the length that was recommended in the pattern, but I think you can totally use up 1 skein and then have it a little bit shorter. I think it doesn't matter that much for a neck warmer, so I think it's a good idea for a 1 skein project if you're in the future. For the needle size, I use 4mm needle, and at the end, when I bound off the neck warmer, I did it quite loosely. So when I wear it and then put it down around my neck here, it will stay up, like flare out really well. Otherwise, I think if you use the bind off, if you make the bind off very tightly, it will roll up easily. So that's something that I would recommend. And then of course, put that side, when you wear it, that side should be down. Otherwise it will flare up here on your face and then it's not that warm. So that was the first one, so the neck warmer, reversible neck by My Woolen Closet. Actually, I have the name here. And then I made actually 2 Sophie scarves with also this Drops Air yarn. For each scarves I used up exactly 40 grams of yarn, so it was a little bit less than 1 skein. I didn't want to try to finish 1 skein and then make it much longer, because I quite liked the length designed by Petite Knit. So of course a lot of people know that Sophie scarf is a small scarf pattern by Petite Knit. I made the size L with the 4mm needle, and then when I finished knitting the Sophie scarf, it was a little bit shorter than the pattern intended. It was about 100 centimeters. I think in the pattern it's slightly longer than that, but when I blocked it, I stretched a little bit, so I think we are around the same length there. I made 2 of them, and then both of them are gifted to my friends during Christmas. And I think with that we're done with the adult garments, and we're going to start with baby knitting, or baby child, toddler knitting. So I will share the garment parts first. So actually the first ever sweater that I made for my daughter is a Friday sweater by Petite Knit. So here is such a tiny, small Friday sweater. So this pattern, I make the size 4 to 6 months for my daughter. I actually made it after she's born, so I wanted to make a sweater just a little bit bigger so that she can still wear it for a couple of months, and also try to make it match my husband's sweater. But as you noticed earlier, that it's the opposite colors, but that's okay. It also looks cute to have an opposite color match. It's not that 100% obvious. For the pattern, I actually have some challenges. It's not about the pattern, it's because I'm 100% beginner. So this pattern, the stitches is broken rib stitches. And then when you're doing increases on the raglan increases, so I think on every other increases you will always have 2 knit stitches side by side instead of 1 knit, 1 purl, 1 knit, 1 purl all the way around. So I'm not sure if it's really easy to understand, but when you finish the raglan increases and then when you split for the body and the sleeves, you should be able to have this the right broken rib stitches for the rest. But for me, the mistakes is from when I finish it and then ready to split. I have 2 knit stitches together on both sides in the front and both sides in the back. I couldn't figure out why. I think at the end now, looking back I can understand that I probably miscounted the rows, so that's why. But I was really afraid of frogging back, and then I couldn't also understand how to correct this mistake, so I just kept going, finished the sweater, and then I hoped that the blocking will just make it less noticeable, and of course I think no one will notice except me. And yes, the blocking helped, and we don't really see, if you don't look at this closely, you don't see that there are 2 knit stitches together, so I was a bit relieved after that. And about the another thing that I changed about this pattern is that, so I just noticed that my fire is off. I will add a little bit of fire. Apart from the mistake that I made, there is only one modification that I made to this pattern, which is the length of this sweater. So one of my friends had already made the sweater, and then she recommended that I should make the body longer, because as the double, well, what is it called? Broken rib stitch is so stretchy, if you make it just a little bit longer, the baby can wear it a little bit long time. So I made the body a little bit longer, so I think I have one more stripe than that would be in the pattern. But I think my pattern, I think the sweater at the end it's still a little bit on the smaller size, because I used the needle size recommended in the pattern, and then I understood afterwards that I am a very tight knitter, especially for the Petite Knit patterns. I now always go up half a millimeter or go up 1 needle size. But my daughter still could wear it for a few months. I'm really happy. I was really happy about that. Speaking about the yarn, I use Sunday from Sandnes Garn. Is 100% merino wool. It was also on the list of recommended yarn, so I decided to use that one. About the yarn, obviously it's very soft, and then you get a lot of peeling. I don't have experience with any other 100% merino wool to really say, okay, like this peels so badly, like others are better, but I can only say that this looks a lot of peeling. I have been de-peeling quite some, but as it's soft, it's comfortable, I think it's the trade-off. So another thing is that it's not about the pattern or about the yarn, it's just about, yeah, that's how life is that babies, they drool a lot or they spit, so all over on the neck and shoulder it's completely felted. It doesn't have like any stretch anymore. Let me see if I can show you a little bit close up. Yes, it's so stiff. It's so stiff and felted. But it was at the end when it was becoming a little bit too small for my daughter, so that's okay. I'm still keeping it. It's the first ever sweater. I think it's going to be a souvenir that I might keep for a long time. And after I finished this sweater, I immediately casted on a Monday sweater by Petite Knit. So it's right here. So Monday sweater by Petite Knit. So obviously it looks much bigger because I was thinking, oh yeah, this sweater, Friday sweater is going to be too small. I want her to have the next sweater ready so that she can wear it. I made Monday sweater junior, so the first size 1 to 2 years old. And when I understood that I should use bigger needle size than the Petite Knit usually does in her pattern, so I use I think 4mm for the ribbing and then 4.5mm for the body. And then it's a 1 to 2 year old size, as I mentioned, but the sweater turns out quite big. As you can see, this is brand new. She has never worn the sweater yet. So it's been now quite some time, I think. It's a bit, I think now she can wear it. It's the right size, I believe so. And the body looks a little bit bigger, but she can still wear it now. About this pattern, this is a simple raglan yoke, so it's easy to knit, just a stockinette, quite mindless knit, I'd say. I think the only modifications I made apart from the needle size is that for the cuff and the hem I used the twisted rib actually just to try it, just to see how it looks. So this is the cuff and rib. I used the twisted rib, but when I started knitting, it was, I already finished the neck. Yeah, as you can see, my ribbing on the neck is not, the stitches are not very even. I wasn't super happy about that. Maybe that's also one of the reasons why I changed it to twisted rib. I think it looks much cleaner, in my opinion, at least on my knitting. So that's about the pattern. And for the yarn, I used again exactly what's recommended in the pattern. So the yarn is from Sandnes Garn. This is Sunday held together with Tin Pirgint. Sunday is color whipped cream from Petite Knit collection, and the mohair is Tin Silk mohair color Blossom. And I believe Blossom is now discontinued. Yeah, I need to double check, but I believe it's just discontinued. So it gives like really nice marled effect, but not that strong color difference, I'd say. I really like how it looks because I think Petite Knit knit one of her sample in this combination, but it's not blossom pink, it was a peach color pink, I think. I really like that sample, that's why I picked this color combination. Also, I think there's the other reason why my daughter hasn't wear the sweater yet is that I've been hesitating about how I feel about this mohair. So a lot of people say this is a bit itchy or scratchy mohair. Personally, I'm not that sensitive, I think, to mohair, but for a baby, I'm not sure. I will explain it just a bit later when I talk about the accessories, because I used the other mohair, Isegear. It was super soft. So I wished that I had also used the same mohair, the Isegear mohair, for this sweater, so that I'm 100% sure that it won't be itchy. But yeah, again, I think now it's the right size for her. I will let her wear it a little bit to see how she would react. But anyways, this is going to be a pattern that I would be definitely knitting in the future. As she grows out of her sweaters, I'm going to make her the bigger ones, so new Monday sweaters for my daughter, of course. So after finishing this sweater, I also made some other accessories using the same Sunday whipped cream color. So I had some leftover from that yarn, and of course after I made this first tiny little Friday sweater, I have a lot of contrast color, this cognac color left from Sunday as well. So did I forgot to mention the color? This base color was whipped cream, so Petite Knit collection, and then the contrast color was cognac color from Sunday, so sorry about that. I had a lot of whipped cream color so left, and also that cognac color, so I decided to make another Friday sweater. So this time a little bit bigger compared to the other one. So this time what I did differently is that I didn't go up a needle size, but I decided that I will knit 9 to 12 months, so a little bit bigger than this one, which was 4 to 6. This is 9 to 12, but I decided to knit it loosely. So I'm not sure if I can explain it well. Basically, when I knit it, I tend to pull the thread or pull the yarn really tightly, so I just decided to let it kind of floating around. So when I knit it, it's going to be really loose. So this is one thing that I made it again, of course, for something else, but I would never do that again. I will, I think, at best change a needle size, but I would never try to knit loosely on the needle size that's recommended in the pattern, because I noticed that when I try to knit loosely, it will be so loose that it's almost becoming like a kind of fishnet situation. It's so large, so stretchy, so airy. I don't think it's supposed to be like this. Even the sleeves are so stretchy and so wide. So basically this was so big that when I finish it, she couldn't wear it. She wears it like much later. It was almost the same size as the Monday sweater, which is 1 to 2 years old. So that is one learning. Not try to knit loosely, instead just go up a needle size. Then I just tried to make some couple of tiny changes on the stripes. For example, the neck, hem and the cuff supposed to be the base color, so the cream color. I just added just a small bit of contrast color here and also here. It's just a small modification because I had still some yarn left from the cognac color. But other than that, maybe because it was knitted loosely, it peeled even more than the first one. So yeah, we still have a lot of peeling going on. I'm not sure if you can see, but I have already de-peeled a lot. And also one thing happened while I was de-peeling. So I used that like tiny little razor machine for sweaters. I think I made a hole in this sweater, so yeah, I would also now try to be careful. And now I don't even use this for the cable sweater because there are a lot of textures. I'm a bit afraid that the razor will actually cut into the yarn and then make a hole again. She's still wearing this sweater, by the way, still right size for her. And again, just on the front side, I'm not going to show you too closely this time, but it also felted a lot. I think even a bit more than the first one, but this time it's because of she started eating food, solid food, and then when she's drinking, eating, and then yeah, there's some spitting and it felted a lot. But of course, now I try to tell myself sweaters are made to be worn, especially for babies. They're going to grow out of them so fast, so yeah, they should wear it as much as they can. The next up is actually a baby pant. So this is a pattern on Drops Design, the free pattern called Cutipie pants, but I have made just slight modifications. The Cutipie pants pattern features double folded waistband where you can put the elastic band inside, and then all over rib for the body. What I made instead is, yeah, obviously it's all over stockinette stitches for the body, because I wanted to something just a little bit lighter, I would say, because I know that the ribbed, they tend to be warmer, more thicker, but as she will be wearing insides when just a little bit when it's just a little bit cool, so I made the all over stockinette instead. This is the size 9 to 12 months. I made it exactly to the pattern, and the pattern was also, again, easy to follow, really clear. Yeah, I really liked how the pattern is written, and it also has German short rows just to raise a little bit the bag, so it will fit even nicer. I'm currently actually making another pants, but yeah, it's going to be maybe future videos when I talk about my ribs, but I really like this pattern. Talking about now the yarn. The yarn is one strand of Thin Perigint from Sandnes Garn. Actually, this is the colorway Cognac, the exact yarn that I used for this sweater. So for this sweater, yeah, actually I ordered at the beginning, I think 10 skeins of Cognac color, or it was even less. Yeah, actually at the end when I was working on the second sleeve, I realized that I don't have enough yarn. I contacted the yarn store. Actually it's called Sandnes Garn, a yarn store from Sandnes. They have an online store that carries Sandnes Garn, Knitting for Olive, Isager, and I now pretty much always order my yarn, if I'm not going to the local yarn store, from that website. They always have good deals sometimes. So actually I had really good experience with this shop, because when I was really running out of yarn, I contacted the owner. I asked if she still has the Sandnes Garn Thin Perigint color Cognac and then that specific dye lot, and she replied really fast that she still has 2 skeins left. I think I wanted to buy 4, so she sent those 2 skeins, and I also bought 2 additional, and when I received it, I looked at them. They looked exactly the same. I think you wouldn't be able to tell even if I used the different dye lot, but at the end, when I finished the sweater, I had at least a little bit more than 2 skeins left from this sweater project, so I was trying to use it for some baby knits, which is going to be perfect for scrap yarns. So for this one, I think it was a little bit over 1 skein, even almost 2. I used 80 grams of yarn, so 50 grams for 1 skein. It was almost 2 skeins then. Let me see if there's something else from my note. I think that's all. So the Cognac color is 2745. For the needle size, for the needle size, I believe I use what's recommended in the pattern, which is 2.5 millimeter for the waistband, and then 3 millimeter needles for the rest. This also has a really nice drape, but I wouldn't, I have never let my daughter wear it like close to her skin immediately, because it's still kind of a little bit yeah, rustic, but it's perfect just as a second layer, I would say. Yeah, that's all about this cute little pants. The next one I would like to share is actually, I think, the first one of my very proudest finished object, which is a Moby sweater by Petite Knit. So it's Moby Sweater Junior. This Moby Sweater Junior features a lot of cable textures, moss stitches. I knitted for my daughter by using the yarn that I frogged from the Haze sweater. So it's Sunday 100% merino from Sandnes Garn. About the pattern, as I have just started to knitting some garments, I was a little bit nervous about getting into cables. But I think I have watched some podcasts, and then other podcasters, they also said, oh, I'm a beginner, but I tried this pattern as my first cable, and then it was really a success, and then it really encouraged me and motivated me to start this pattern. The size is 1 to 2 year old size. Sorry, it wasn't 1 to 2 years. The size is 2 to 3 years old. 212 grams of yarn, and then why I said it's 1 to 2 years, because my daughter is already wearing it for a while. It's actually quite small compared to the pattern, and that's because I used the recommended needle size. And obviously my gauge was too tight, and the one thing that in 2026 I really wanted to change is that I need to start seriously making gauge swatches. I have made a few gauge swatches. For example, for Hanstholm sweater I have made gauge swatches. This one I have made as well, but I'm not doing this especially for baby knits. I'm just a bit relaxed because for babies it's okay if it's not like the exact fit, and then I will always knit like one size bigger. For example, this is 2 to 3 years old, so even though the gauge is a little bit off, she can still wear it. So yeah, that's the reason why it looks small, because the gauge is off, and I knitted a bigger size. So about the pattern, I can also say that if you're a beginner knitter, already knitted a sweater, so knit Purl, I think you can definitely try this Moby sweater as your first project. So it was a very satisfying knit, because the cables, the stitches are very engaging. You just keep doing it, and then I think I finished it quite fast as well. About the yarn, I think Sunday from Sandnes Garn is a really good yarn for children, for small children or babies, because it's very soft. But also this one as well, it peeled, but sometimes I will just pull it away without using the razor, the depeeler, because I'm a bit afraid that I will make holes in the sweater. But other than that, I think it's holding up really well. Very sturdy, nice drape, and my daughter also wear it ton, still wearing it actually. So yeah, let's see if in the future I will make a bigger one, or I will be just interested in other cable sweaters instead. But this was definitely the cable sweater that made me really confident about this type of a little bit complex stitch patterns. So this leads me to the next project that I don't have it with me because it's a gift knit, which was a Dagmar sweater junior by Petite Knit. So it's also another cable sweater from Petite Knit. I use again the Sunday from Sandnes Garn, the colorway Almond. It was exactly the same as one of the samples from Petite Knit, and I knit this for one of my friend's child as a gift knit. I knit the 2 to 3 years old as a size. This time I knitted 0.5 millimeter needles bigger than the pattern recommended, and then at the end it was the right size. After blocking I measured it, it was perfectly right. And for the yarn I used up exactly as the pattern suggested, 6 skeins, almost 6 skeins. It was just a little bit left from the sweater at the end, but I'm really happy about that sweater. And actually when I ordered it, I ordered 2 pack, or I ordered the almond color as a gift knit, and I also ordered a light lila color, or light purple color to knit another exact same one for my daughter. And that one I haven't started yet. I will definitely put it on my list for this year to cast it on as soon as possible, because I have the yarn only for 2 to 3 years old, and then I don't want it to become too small when I finish it. I think the reason why I didn't start it immediately, probably because yeah, the Dagmar sweater, after the Moby sweater I made the Dagmar sweater, I think I was a little bit done with the cables. I wanted to some simple stockinette mindless project, so I just put it down for a while, but now I'm excited to work on another cable again, so that's a good opportunity to pick up this great yarn and then start another Dagmar sweater junior for my daughter. And then for next, yeah, I think I have the last biggest garment that I made for my daughter in 2025, which is Selma sleepsuit. Oh, this is very big. This is a Selma sleepsuit from Petite Knit. Actually, the reason why I made this sleepsuit is that yeah, the friend to whom I gifted the Dagmar sweater, she actually gifted me a Selma sleepsuit as the newborn size. I think it's size 3 months if I'm not mistaken. And then in Norway it's yeah, it could get quite cold in winter, and then when it's not too cold, of course, when it's less than -10, and the babies, the children, they sleep outside in their stroller. So my daughter, when she's born, she was also sleeping a lot in her stroller outside, and then yeah, I just push her around in the snow in her stroller, in her Selma's sleepsuit. She looks so comfy, so cozy, snuggle in there, and then she slept really well. She actually loved that sleepsuit, I think. And whenever we went out in the colder weather, I will also use that as like a warmer overall layer. So it was a really good garment that, yeah, I told myself, yeah, I'm definitely going to make her one bigger size next year. So that is what I did. And then, as usual, I use for this time the recommended needle size, and then I knitted the bigger size, which was, I think, 2 to 3 years old, I believe. The Selma sleepsuit, yeah, 2 to 3 years old instead of 1 to 2 if she is going to wear it right now. I didn't do gauge swatch, I didn't change needle size, I just knitted one size bigger. So at the end, when I finish it, because I followed, of course, the measurement for the length, like she will, in the pattern it will indicate that, oh, like knit the body until it measures like how many centimeters, and then the legs for the centimeters, the lengths, and also for the sleeves it should be how many centimeters. So I followed the pattern exactly. Then it turns out that, of course, my gauge was too tight. I think I have knitted way more rows than the pattern indicated to have the right length. So before finishing the length, before finishing the sleeves, I have ran out of yarn. So but lucky me, I went to the yarn store and they still had the one skein left from the exact same dye lot. So I made that so I bought that one skein from that yarn store. I just used a little bit, but yeah, I was happy that still I can make it with the same yarn at the end. As I mentioned, yeah, like I had to knit way more rows. I think it feels a little bit stiff or a little bit denser than the one that she has, the 3 months old size. And also I just blocked it, actually. It's just off the blocking mat. It now looks probably a bit better, but I will insert a picture before blocking. It actually looks very how to say, like the narrow, like the legs and the sleeves were really narrow. I was a bit worried that it will be too tight on my daughter, but as it's stretchy, it's okay. But yeah, once again, I really should have made a gauge swatch and then use a bigger needle size. I think the fabric will be a little bit more lighter, more airy, and also I wouldn't have that problem of running out of yarn. So about the pattern, my experience was really great. Everything was again perfectly clear. I have followed exactly everything as the pattern indicated, so I didn't have any problem with the pattern, and just that knitting like back and forth, like for everything, for the body, for the legs, for the sleeves, the garter stitch back and forth. It was a little bit overwhelming at the end. I was really looking forward to finishing this garment. It's been a while, and then I thought that I was making, oh, it's like a baby garment, but at the end, when you realize you finish 10 or more than 10 almost, 11 skeins of yarn, it's not, you can't just say it's a baby garment. Even for my full-size adult sweater, I don't think I used up 10 skeins of yarn. So yeah, it was a quite a big project. It was a big commitment, but I'm happy that it's finally done, and it's getting colder here, -10, -8, and she will be able to wear it this year. I hope she can wear it this year, and also a little bit next year, hopefully. Yeah, it will stretch and it grows with the baby. So this is a project. If she could get a lot of wear out of it, I would be really happy about it. And then about the yarn, I also used one of the yarn recommended in the pattern, which is Snøfnuk from Kamarosa. I think it's a Danish yarn. It's a blend of organic cotton, baby alpaca, and what is in it? And some merino or wool, maybe. I will put it in the screen. So it is so soft. I understand why it was chosen to make this kind of baby sleeping sleepsuit garment, because it's because it was so soft, and then the cotton content, I think it gives you that characteristics of warm but not too warm. It could still cool down a little bit, because it's important that the baby doesn't get too warm while they're sleeping. So I think it's also an important feature of this yarn. So super soft. I'm super happy about this. The yarn, of course, it's a bit pricey, on the pricey end, so I will use this yarn again for some important projects in the future. And also the last one, the previous one that I received as a gift, I think it was also on the same yarn, and it held up really well. Not much pilling, still super comfortable, super soft, and yeah, highly recommended this yarn. And this pattern, if you are going to make a baby knit gift, like a smaller one, maybe 3 months, not that overwhelming, the perfect as a baby gift, I think. Yeah, I think in the future, if some of my friends or someone that I know, I will like having a baby, I will definitely make this one as a gift. Now I think it's time for the baby accessories. Let me see what I have here. So there are a couple of baby accessories. I don't have them with me right now, but I think I will mention first one is baby bear balaclava. My daughter is having this in the kindergarten right now, but that is actually the first accessory that I have made for her. The baby bear balaclava is a pattern from Knitting for Olive. I will insert a picture of the pattern, and then also the one that I made. The pattern is actually, for me, very complicated, a very challenging pattern, because there are like so many steps to shape everything from the face, and then the increases for the hat, and then the ears, and then how to finish and then sew up like the back of the hat. Like, it was really a lot, and I had some hard time following the pattern. And I actually, there was a yarn store that was hosting a kind of like a workshop about this pattern. So I watched that video, and then compared to the pattern, I finally finished the garment, I finally finished that hat that way. I think without that video I wouldn't be able to finish that because I wasn't, I think, experienced enough to understand all these different steps and techniques. But at the end, that hat turned out so well. It's still like the most worn items of my daughter. It's really perfect, like when she was sleeping outside, when she just goes outside, like everywhere when she's outside she's wearing that hat. So the pattern I have mentioned about the, a bit difficulty for me as a beginner, but for the yarn I used some leftover yarn again from Sandnes Garn colorway, Sandnes Garn Sunday colorway whipped cream, held together with Isager silk mohair. So that's my, for now, only experience using the Isager silk mohair, but I agree with a lot of people that it's a super soft mohair, definitely worth it. It's on the pricey side, but it's so soft, and I'm also really much more reassured that it's this kind of soft mohair that my child is wearing every day. For the colorway it was E0, it's kind of, I think, the natural white color. I needed the size 1 year or 1 to 2 years or 12 months, and then she's still wearing it right now. I think it's starting to get a little bit small, so as we're so happy about that hat, I'm planning to make another one. I haven't bought yarn or anything yet, but that's definitely going to be the list for next winter. So the next hat, I'm also talk about that first because it's also in the kindergarten. It's all-weather balaclava from Strikkesoffe, or the pattern now it's only available in Norwegian, so it's called Uværsbalaclava. Maybe some people already heard about her other patterns, like Stormy weather hat or all weather hats. Both are very popular. When I wanted to make a hat for my daughter, I was a little bit drawn to balaclavas because it will still keep her neck warm. So I wanted to make balaclavas. So after the baby bear balaclava, I decided to make this all-weather balaclava. The pattern, so it's actually a quite complex pattern with a lot of different steps. They're like there's a forehead shaping, the face shaping, and then there's like the front panel, back panel shaping, and then the hat. So there are a lot of steps. It was at the beginning quite overwhelming, but if you follow step-by-step, pattern is super well written, and if you're experienced knitter, I think even if it's a Norwegian pattern, you can easily do some translation, Google translation, and then make it yourself. I think making that pattern, I had one issue though, but it's not at all the pattern's fault. It's about the needle that I had. So I have circular knitters. I think circular needles, you need 4mm, either no, you need 4mm circular needles, 40 centimeter and 80 or 100 centimeter. So I have 40 and 80 centimeter for 4mm needles. So I thought, okay, now I'm good to go. I started the pattern, but when I started finish the knitting in the round with the 40 centimeter needle, then you need to do a lot, almost the rest, all the rest with the magic loop method. And then for the magic loop method, I realized that 80 centimeter needle, at least for the size that I was making. So that size, let me just check my note. The size was 2 years old. When I was making it, I realized that 80 centimeter is not long enough. It's like stretching the fabric so much, and also it's hurting my hand so much that I put that project away for a while. And then I still wanted to finish that, so I, when I was ordering yarn, I ordered also a 100 centimeter needle. It was an opportunity for me to test it out, Chaogu needle, so I ordered Chaogu 4mm 100 centimeter. needle from that yarn shop, and I pick up that project again, and then it was so smooth, so easy. I finished the project. So definitely 100 centimeter I think is for me personally recommended to do that magic loop side. So, and then for the yarn, I used the yarn that I frogged from my Haze sweater. So it's a Sunday from Sandnes Garn. I had one skein of blue color, and then the others were white. So I used up first the blue, and then for the rest I just add the white, because yeah, it doesn't really matter if it's not like the perfect one color. I just wanted to use up that yarn, and also it's a really good merino yarn to make a hat for babies. I measured at the end the weight of that balaclava. So apart from the 50 grams of blue yarn, it was in total 116 grams. So means, yeah, around 66 grams for the white color yarn for 2 years old. Now I had another issue. It's again my fault. Again with the baby accessories, I didn't do gauge swatch. My daughter was not hasn't turned 1 year old yet, so I just said, yeah, I will need 2 years old. She can wear it this year, even next year, no problem, no gauge swatch. But when I finished the 2 year old size, when I tried on her, even now it's small. I think she absolutely cannot wear it next year. Even for this year, I'm trying to stretch it out so much so that she can still get some wear out of it. It's because, again, I'm a very tight knitter, and then I think for this project it was recommended to use either, you can use Sunday and also Petite Knit. I think Petite Knit is a little bit heavier weight than Sunday. So when I was using Sunday, it always turned out a little bit tighter. Also another reason is that it's a yarn, it's repurposed yarn. I frogged it from a sweater, and then when I frogged it, I wind the yarn by hand, and then I pull it so tightly. It was kind of like a hard stone balls of yarn, so obviously I stretched the yarn too much, and then it got even lighter or even thinner. So that's also I think the main reason why it got smaller. And then what I'm still very happy about this hat for some of the reason is that it's with the DK weight yarn, and then everywhere, like the hat, all the panel from like the front and behind, it's all double layer, so it's super thick. So it's stormy weather balaclava, so when it gets really cold outside, even -10, -20 maybe, you can still wear that hat. So it's super thick for a very, very cold weather. And then the pattern is designed to have a really good forehead coverage. So it has the shape of this, and then has a face opening. So for some of the balaclava, like the baby bear, it's like a round opening. Sometimes I always like pull a little bit on the forehead because it's a bit open here, but for this one the design is super smart. And then if I make this one again, probably I would make this again. So I will make, of course, use a bigger needle size, or at least do a gauge swatch before starting it. But yeah, super happy about this project. Even though it turns out a little bit small, she's still getting a lot of wear out of it while on the way to go to the kindergarten on the colder days. Then the next project I will talk about, still the same designer, Strikkesoffe. This time I make the all-weather hat. I actually made 2 all-weather hats because I look at the pattern after making this all-weather or stormy weather balaclava. I thought like, okay, for this designer, specific designer, maybe I will need to go up a size again, because maybe that's also part of the issue. So I decided to make 3 to 4 years old. So my daughter is 1. I decided to make 3 to 4 years old with the recommended needle size, and then I knitted it loosely. again, that was really like the mistake that I should have avoided this time. I already have that experience with the Friday sweater, but I don't know, I forgot it. I knitted it loosely, 3 to 4 years old. Now this Finnish hat, she hasn't wear it yet. Even I can wear it. It looks silly, but I will try it on. Even I can wear this hat, so there's no way it's the right fit for her right now. So actually in the pattern, recommended yarn, one of the recommended yarn is Knitting for Olive Merino. So it's knitted up with the 1 strand of fingering weight yarn. On actually the forehead side, and then the ear flaps, it's a double folded, so it still has some thickness, but the head part is a single layer. This is double, so it's still warm enough. I bought the exact same color that I saw in the sample because I really like that color. It's a wild berry color from Merino Knitting for Olive. And then in the pattern it recommended 2 skeins of yarn for the 3 to 4 years old. So what happens is that when I finish this, I was still on my first skein. I weighed this hat, it was around 40 grams, so it was less than 1 skein. So what I did is that, okay, this one is too big. I casted on another one again. So this time I casted on 1 to 2 years old. And then I knitted normally, or knitted just as tight as usual that I do. And then at the end, it was the right fit for my daughter. So 1 to 2 year old, I used up the yarn again, 33 grams. And then 33 grams and then 40 grams for this one. And then in each bowl, I think it was slightly more than 50 grams. At the end, I still have 33 grams left. I can still make one more all-weather hat, so it will make 3 hats for a recommended yarn for 1 hat. So I don't quite understand why it was recommended like that in the pattern. You can make 3 instead of 1, but even if you make gauge swatch, I think you will still have a lot of yarn left. You can make 2 hats easily. So yeah, if you're planning to make this hat, I can tell you that 3 to 4 years old is 40 grams, 1 to 2 years old is 33 grams. So around that quantity of yarn, you can definitely make this hat from if you have any home, like 1 skein or less than 1 skein of fingering weight yarn, you can definitely make this hat. The other thing that I would like to talk about is about the yarn. So obviously this one she hasn't wear it yet. The other one is in the kindergarten right now. She wears it also in the kindergarten all the time. So when she goes out with her winter outfit, I think it goes perfectly well. And then this yarn, as it is a hat, as an accessory, so I can't compare with the sweaters, because even the one that she's been wearing a lot, there's like no pilling, like at all. Compared to the Sunday from Sandnes Garn. So I don't know if it's Knitting for Olive, it's just it doesn't pill a lot, or because it's a hat. Maybe both, I don't know. But when I knit this, it has like a feeling of a cotton yarn. It's 100% merino, but feels kind of like cotton, as I used to crochet a lot with the cotton yarn, but it's not in a bad way, definitely. It's very comfortable, soft and drapey. And yeah, this is a yarn I think a lot of people love, and then if I have opportunity I will definitely use this yarn again. And then for the hat, as in Norway it gets quite cold here, I don't plan to make more all-weather hat. If I would, I think I'm going to make, I will buy the pattern for Stormy weather hat and then make that one instead for next winter. Yeah, one last item from the same designer, Strikkesoffe. I made mittens. So this one is all-weather mittens from Strikkesoffe. I will show this a bit closer. Yes, so this is a kindergarten mitten that I made for my daughter. So I'm going to talk about the pattern first. So this is a pattern for children mitten patterns. Started with a double folded cuff here. You can have options like a longer cuff or the shorters. I knitted the longer version. So you have a ribbing part here and then the hand. You have an option to put this, how to call it, like elastics that you can close it, because it's intended to worn outside of their coat, and then to secure it you can just pull it up. I think the design was super smart, so I went to a supply store, bought this, I think it's called stopper. Yeah, is it? Yeah, I will put the link or the name of this small thing that I bought. And then at the beginning, yes, this is not my first try. I will show you my first try. This one I tried first with some of the leftover yarn that I have at home. So I had this variegated color and then this purple and then the yellow color. I tried it one first. This is, I think, the 1 year old or 1 to 2 year old. When I finished it, it looked really small, and then when I tried on my daughter, it was also really small. So I decided to I didn't even finish the thumb. I decided to put it aside and then the knit size up, 2 years old. So to compare, it looks like this. I would say it's still quite a big difference, these two sizes. So I made just slight modification, is that like for the 2 years old, I even at the end, before starting this decreases, I made my daughter try it on, and then it was still a bit shorter, so I added a little bit more to the hand before doing the decreases. So that's the modification that I made. Other than that, there's no modification to the pattern, and the pattern is also very well written, easy to follow. Again, I didn't make any gauge swatch. That's also probably why this one turned out so small, and then I had to knit it one more like a size up, and then this one even more smaller. This one was still small, that I had to knit it longer, because this is my gauge issue. For the yarn, I use Perite from Sandnes Garn, so I'm not sure if this colors look familiar, because this was the leftover yarn from these two mittens. So for my husband, for myself, and then yes, there's I think actually another modification that I made for this pattern. As I mentioned, for the first attempt, it looked very small, and also the rib part, this was very tight. So for this one, I actually knitted the hand, like all the rest, with 4mm needles, and then for the rib part I used 3.5mm needles instead of 3mm. 3mm recommended in the pattern. If this pair of patterns looked very new, brand new, yes, they are brand new, because my daughter, she hasn't been able to wear it yet. In the kindergarten, they use that kind of like store-bought, very thick and warm winter mittens right now, so hopefully she will be able to get some wear out of it before it gets too small. Maybe now it's starting to snow a lot outside, so she can wear this pair of mittens and then, yeah, play a little bit outside this winter. And after making this pair of mittens, I was thinking it would be nice to have one more extra pair of mittens home. So one pair for kindergarten, one pair for home. So I cast it on and knitted another pair of same all-weather mittens, I think, from Strikkesoffe. This time what I made differently is that, from what you can see, I started the mitten from the cuff. So I just skipped all this part, because sometimes I think it's nice to have a mittens that you can wear inside of your coat instead of like this for outside of the coat. So I will show it a little bit closer. Very cute little mittens. For the yarn, I used again the exact same leftover yarn from these two mittens, and this time as I used just a couple of rows of red and a dark blue here, I used up like the last 1 gram of these two yarn, and I'm super happy about that level of stash busting to use up all the yarn for this red and dark blue color. For the base color, it's still the almond. So the whole mitten, the knitted by Sandnes Garn Perite, and I weighed this mitten at the end. I used up exactly 27 grams of yarn for this mitten. So this is size 2 years old. And same, I use 3.5 millimeter for the cuff and then 4 millimeter for the rest of the hand. Yeah, it was super quick knit. I think one evening I finished this pair of mittens. And then for next, I would like to talk about this small neck warmer. So actually I mentioned that when I was knitting the Selma sleepsuit, I ran out of yarn, and then I went to the yarn store to buy one more skein, and then I used really little. Let me check for this neck warmer. I used up 47 grams, like all the yarn that I have. It was 47 grams. That means I used only around 3 grams for the last bit of Selma sleepsuit. So I still had almost 1 skein left, and as it was super nice and soft yarn, I wanted to make something again for my daughter, and especially this is something that she would wear close to her skin, to the neck. I think this is a good option as a yarn. So for the pattern, actually this is again the reversible neck by my Wollen closet. So it's the neck warmer, the free pattern on Ravelry. I think there was a few sizes in there, but I will check it and then put it on the screen, the different size that was recommended. But as this is for my daughter, I cast it on way less stitches. So I cast it on 108 stitches. I think in the pattern it was around 120 or 30 for adult size. So for this one I cast it on 108 stitches on 4 millimeter needle. So at the end, when I finish it, I measured the circumferences. It was around 40 to 43 centimeters of circumferences, and then when I used up all the yarn, I made it to 17 centimeters. My daughter wear it a couple of times. It's really nice. I think soft, warm, and great for winter, colder weather. And I also just tried on myself. It just looks like a regular sweater turtleneck. I think I haven't showed it inside of this pattern. So it is 2x1 rib. So the right side is the 2x1 rib. When you flip it over, it looks like this. So I think it looks quite nice. So this is another scrap yarn projects that I have. We are now down to the one last item that I made in 2025, which is a Christmas hat that I made for my daughter. So this Christmas hat is a free pattern that I found on Ravelry. If I'm not mistaken, this was a design from Marianne Bjerkman called Oops, It's Christmas Hat. So for this one I wanted to use up the drop snipple that I bought for the Sophie hood. So for the Sophie hood, I calculated how much yarn I would need from a drop snipple. I think I needed about 7 skeins. So just to be on the sure side, I bought 8 skeins of yarn. But for some reason, I'm not sure, I used up at the end 5.5 skeins. So that means I still had 2.5 skeins of drop snipple left from that project. So actually there's one information that I forgot to mention, that for the Sophie hood I used a 5.5mm needle instead of 5mm. But yeah, that still shouldn't be the reason why I have that much yarn left. But anyways, I wanted to use that bright red color to make a Christmas hat for my daughter. So I used that pattern basically to follow the stitch count. Then for the white part, it's a Sunday from Sandnes Garn, so still the white yarn from my Haze sweater that I made, Moby sweater, and then the balaclava, there was still yarn left. So for the forehead part, I thought it could be just less itchy maybe than the drop snipple, so I used a Sunday, so the white color. So the same for the pom-pom, I still used white color. In total, without the pom-pom, so in total here I used 113 grams of yarn. And then yeah, there's one modification I made for the pattern. So if you can see, there's like a lot of decreases going on. At the end there's like this triangle, like fast decrease, because I found it like this hat for a 1-year-old child very long. Like the decrease for me was decrease rate was a bit slow, and then I didn't want it to get like super long. So just at the end for this chunk, I made, I think, decreases almost every round or every other round, instead of there's like, yeah, in the pattern it's indicated maybe it's every 6th or 8th round decrease, but I just made it like super fast. So that's why there's small shaping here, but it still looks good. And at the end, with this yarn, drop snipple and Sunday, this is a quite heavyweight hat. When my daughter wears it, sometimes because of the weight, it can pull up to one side of her head. But yeah, next year I hope she will still be able to wear it a little bit more, and then it will stay a bit better in place. So that's it. That was everything I have made in 2025. Thank you so much for being with me here today. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you've been knitting lately, any patterns that you would recommend for 2026 this year. I really want to make a little bit more for myself. If you remember, apart from the sweater that I have frocked, this is the only sweater that I made for myself. So this year I really want to make more, and actually I'm waiting for yarn that I have ordered online, that I'm going to start a test knit. So it's going to be an all over cable sweater, adult sweater for myself. So I'm really excited about that project, and I'm also going to share more about that one and then my other whips definitely in my next podcast. So I will now try to start like the regular podcast episodes to talk about some finished objects, current whips, or yeah, anything knitting related, because I really like watching these kinds of videos, really like discussing with that podcaster or other people in the comment sections from their experience about some patterns, yarn, anything that they liked. So I really like this exchange in this knitting community. Yeah, excited about 2026. I hope everything is well with you, and you will also have a lot of knitting time this year, and let's catch up soon. Bye!